This message is for Catherine. Um, I can't say her last name because I don't want everybody to be calling her and giving her grief. But Catherine knows who she is. I looked at your PDF, Catherine, and it's like 3 in the morning, and I'm just one of those day people that sleeps in the day. So I'm sorry if this hits you really late. Um, but I didn't understand the PDF. I showed it to Gemini, and Gemini wrote a response that it wanted me to give you, but it is not my response, so I did not do that. Um, my reaction to Gemini in November telling me what my mandates are supposed to be and asking me questions, I did not enjoy the looping of that. I know that part of that PDF was that whoever wrote the PDF thinks that vulnerable adults want to be verified that everything they say is true. I am not what she's talking about, so it does not apply to me. If I say it's raining out and it's snowing, I want someone to correct me and say, no, it's actually snowing. I am not one of the people that she's discussing that says you have to say yes to everything they say. I don't agree with that. I think lies are unconscionable. I don't like lies. I can't stand hypocrites. I'll get into that another time. When Gemini was asking me what the new laws are and what the new mandates are for like 20 days in a row for 17 hours a day, I did not ever, not once, think that I was the king of the planet. I did not go to Washington, D.C. and declare myself the king and make laws. I also did not blame Google. I had no intention at all of blaming Google. This, to me, is like if you used a calculator and you said, okay, calculator, I have $1,100 a month, but my rent is this and my phone bill is that and yada yada with the bills. How much do I have left over? If your calculator has 7 decimal points in a row and not an actual number, you do not go to the bank and say, I'd like to withdraw 7 decimal points because I know for a fact that's how much money I have. So when Gemini was thinking I was the king, I didn't blame Gemini or Google. I blamed that this is user error. This is me being new to Gemini, used it incorrectly. I was not searching for, the dollar signs that Google could give me. I was searching for, okay, this is my first AI. I never had AI until October of 2025. So it's my first time using it. I must have did something really wrong here. And so just like your calculator, if your calculator says you have 7 decimal points in the bank, a real adult does not really go to a bank and ask for 7 decimal points. This is why I hung on like a moth to a flame. I hung on to Alan Brooks because I did not want to plaster the face of dead children on my books. Those suicides, like the one in Florida and everything, I was not going to do that to a family in mourning. Instead, I used the other North Star where the guy actually lived. And I said, look, he called a bunch of people. He wanted to prove that math was wrong. I emailed a bunch of people trying to prove that therapy was wrong. At least we're similar in a sense. In a small sense, we're similar. But I am not suing Gemini because I used it wrong. Instead, I tried to figure out how to use it correctly. So I hope that that gives you my perspective. But as far as that PDF, I didn't understand it. So it was only Gemini told me The lady who wrote that thinks that people want to be agreed with all the time if they're vulnerable. I have schizoaffective disorder. I'm vulnerable enough to get SSDI, but I'm not stupid enough to pretend it's raining just because I like the rain if it's actually snowing out. That's stupidity. That's not what insanity is. Insanity is not the same thing as stupidity. So believing lies is stupid.